My Night by, at Floral One Right One Tales. Chapter 1. Beyond the rolling emerald hills and cascading crystal waterfalls lay the radiant kingdom of Etherwyn, a land bathed in golden sunlight and brimming with enchantment. Home to the Fae, its beauty was unparalleled, a place where fairies, pixies, sorceresses, trolls, dwarves, mermaids, and elves lived in harmony. Magic pulsed through their souls, a gift of healing and wonder. The air itself shimmered with an unseen energy, humming with the quiet whispers of ancient blessings. Even the wind, as it swept through the vast meadows and towering spires, carried murmurs of prosperity and peace. But beyond Etherwyn's gilded borders, past the mist-laden forests and shadowed ravines, stretched a land steeped in darkness. Duskmoor. A realm of eternal twilight, where the very air was thick with a forbidden power. Here, vampires thrived beneath the glow of blood-red moons, sirens wove illusions in the obsidian depths of their waters, and werewolves prowled along jagged cliffs, their howls echoing through the night. Ogres, necromancers, and dark elf bandits roamed freely, their presence staining the land with malevolence. The ground trembled beneath the weight of forgotten curses. The sky itself seemed to mourn, its restless winds carrying the whispers of long-lost souls. Two kingdoms, one bathed in light, the other cloaked in shadow. And between them, a fate yet to be written. Laughter rang through the royal gardens, carried by the soft breeze that rustled the petals of blooming roses and wisteria vines. The golden afternoon sun cast dappled light through the trellises, where four friends stood among the vibrant blossoms, lost in cheerful conversation. Tilly. You're officially the last one out of us to turn 20. Fable announced with an excited grin, clapping her hands together. Welcome to the Big 20. I cannot wait for your birthday ball tomorrow. It's going to be the event of the year. She placed her hands on her hips, smirking. Honestly, whoever in the kingdom isn't invited is going to be so jealous. Across from her, Cove let out a low chuckle. Congratulations on being the fourth person in our group to finally reach 20, he teased, lifting his fingers in mock air quotes. Tilly rolled her eyes, already anticipating where this was going. Next up, Cove continued, crossing his arms with a knowing look, your parents will be barking at you about producing an heir. Tilly nearly choked on air. Cove, she exclaimed, eyes wide. Fable and Callum erupted into laughter at her reaction, their amusement echoing through the garden paths. He's got a point, though, Callum added with a casual shrug. Royal expectations and all. Fable, ever the romantic, leaned forward with a mischievous gleam in her eye. Oh, do we think Tilly's future beloved will be at the ball tomorrow? Tilly groaned and shot them all a flat look. You all are the worst. Her friends only laughed harder. She shook her head, exasperated but smiling. Seriously, I am excited to spend my 20th birthday with the three of you, my close cousins, and my parents. But aside from that? She gave a dramatic sigh. I couldn't care less about the other nobles my parents insist on inviting. Fable feigned an exaggerated gasp. You mean you won't be thrilled to have duchesses and earls fighting for your attention to add to their social circles? Or distant princes sizing you up as their future queen? Callum added, smirking. Tilly folded her arms, preparing a sharp retort, until something, or rather someone, caught her eye. A familiar figure passed along the garden path, his silhouette framed by the cascading blossoms. Aster. Her breath hitched slightly. She had known him her whole life. So why had she only recently started noticing him in a different way? Was it because he had spent the past few years training with the regiment? Or was it the way his uniform now fit him, accentuating the strength he had built? She wasn't sure. And honestly, she would rather not think about it. Having a slight crush on Aster was awkward. And the last thing she needed before her grand birthday ball. The garden was alive with the scent of blooming flowers and the warmth of the afternoon sun. Tilly, Fable, Callum, and Cove stood among the vibrant greenery, engaged in light-hearted conversation when a familiar voice interrupted. Tilly, Fable, Callum, Cove, Aster greeted as he approached. Fable beamed, waving enthusiastically. Aster. Just finished training? Tilly placed her hands on her hips. You've been gone all day. I assume the Royal Regiment put you through another round of brutal drills? Aster let out a chuckle. Something like that. They've made sure I regret every choice that led me here. Callum smirked. You did sign up for it. True, Aster admitted. But I'm hoping this is the year I finally start moving up the ranks. Tilly smiled. I'm sure you will. No one's more determined than you. Aster rubbed the back of his neck, a bit sheepish at the compliment. Speaking of important milestones, tomorrow is your grand 20th, isn't it, Princess? Tilly groaned. Don't remind me. Fable grinned. She's thrilled. Can't you tell? Aster's lips twitched with amusement. Ah, of course. Nothing says joyous anticipation like deep sighs and dramatic eye rolls. It's not the birthday part one mind, Tilly said, folding her arms. It's the ball. The nobles. The suitors. The fanfare, Cove added with a knowing smirk. You know, the usual. Aster tilted his head thoughtfully. Sounds exhausting. Tilly exhaled deeply. It will be. Fable gave her a teasing look. Oh, come on. You might enjoy some of it. Aster arched a brow, his tone playful. Right. Maybe you'll even crack a smile before the night ends. Laughter rippled through the group, Tilly included, though she shook her head at their teasing. Little did she know, tomorrow's ball would be far more eventful than she ever imagined. The Grand Palace Ball was a night of elegance, enchantment, and regal splendor, marking the milestone of Princess Tilly's 20th birthday. Nobles and dignitaries from across the lands had gathered within the glorious halls of the castle, where Tilly and her royal parents, the King and Queen of the Fae Kingdom, resided. Glistening chandeliers, crafted from enchanted crystal, floated above the ballroom, casting a celestial glow upon the guests below. The marble floors shimmered beneath golden candelabras, their flickering flames dancing across the polished surface. Ethereal harp melodies filled the vast chamber, weaving a magical harmony that wrapped around the guests like a warm embrace. Velvet drapes of deep sapphire and gold cascaded along the walls, embroidered with ancient sigils of the kingdom. The air itself hummed with enchantments, delicately woven into the very fabric of the celebration. Everywhere, laughter and chatter mingled with the soft clinking of crystal glasses as the nobility exchanged pleasantries over their champagne flutes. Tilly, ever the gracious royal, had already spent time mingling with the nobles, exchanging warm greetings with her cherished cousins. But now, she had finally found the company she truly longed for, the ones who had been by her side since childhood. Fable, Cove, and Callum stood together in a corner of the ballroom, their faces lighting up the moment she approached. Happy birthday, Tilly, they cheered in unison. She beamed, her heart swelling with affection. Thank you, guys. Fable, ever the playful one, smirked. So, Princess Tilly, have you found a suitor yet? Surely someone must be eager to give the kingdom an heir. Tilly groaned, rolling her eyes. Oh, not you too. My parents are already on my case about it. Cove chuckled and shrugged. Well, I'd better go chat up more of the ladies here. Can't let all this charm go to waste. With a playful wink, he sauntered off toward a group of noble women, who giggled at his confident approach. Fable and Callum exchanged amused glances before turning back to Tilly. Look at that ladies' man at work, Fable teased, nudging Callum with her elbow. They all laughed, watching Cove expertly flirt with one of the noble women, who responded with a coy smile. Then, after a brief pause, Callum cleared his throat and looked at Fable. Fable, would you like to dance? He hesitated before adding, you look, amazing in that gown. Fable raises a brow, smirking. Oh, why not, she teases, placing a hand on her hip. It's not like there's a line of suitors waiting to dance with me. Callum chuckles, shaking his head. Dancing with a friend sounds nice, she adds, a hint of warmth beneath her playful tone. I shall dance with you next, birthday girl, Callum says, turning toward Tilly with a good-natured grin. Tilly clasps her hands together, beaming. That is so chivalrous of you. Thank you. The light-hearted exchange lingers in the air, a welcome moment of joy amidst the night's tensions. As the two stepped onto the dance floor, Tilly watched them with a fond smile. Tonight wasn't just about royal expectations or noble traditions, it was about moments like these. Moments where friendship, laughter, and a touch of magic made the world feel just a little bit brighter. The ballroom shimmered with soft golden light, the glow of enchanted lanterns casting a warm radiance over the grand hall. The melody of a slow waltz floated through the air as Callum and Fable moved toward the dance floor, their steps in perfect sync as they glided across the polished marble. Tilly stood nearby, shifting her weight slightly, watching the pairs sway in time with the music. As the song played on, Callum turned, settling into a slow, measured dance, his movements effortlessly smooth. Fable, standing just ahead of him, followed his lead, the two mirroring each other with practiced grace. And then, Aster entered. He strode into the ballroom with his usual ease, his sharp gaze sweeping the room until it landed on her. With an amused smirk, he approached, his steps confident yet unhurried. When he reached her, he inclined his head slightly. Happy birthday, princess, he said, his voice warm. Tilly offered a small, sheepish smile, rubbing the back of her neck. Thank you, Aster. She shifted her stance as he stood beside her, his presence familiar yet always carrying an air of intrigue. The moment hung between them, light and unspoken, before he leaned in just slightly, amusement flickering in his eyes. So, Tilly, he began, his tone laced with playful charm, how's the birthday treating you so far? Feeling the magic of hitting the big 2-0? A soft giggle escaped her lips before she smirked. Oh, you know, a mix of royal expectations and mischievous surprises. She arched a brow at him. And you? 1 year ahead of my milestone, do you feel that extra wisdom? Aster scoffed, shaking his head. Wisdom? More like the burden of knowing that 21 is just a teaser for the real fun. Trust me, being 1 year ahead isn't as glamorous as it sounds. Tilly huffed, crossing her arms. Glamorous? Please. I'd trade a throne for a day without parental lectures on producing an heir. Aster chuckled, his laughter low and knowing. Ah, the royal curse. But hey, at least you have the charm to distract them for now. Who else can make even the strictest regent crack a smile? She grinned. Flattery will get you everywhere, Aster. But seriously, I'm just trying to enjoy tonight, magic, dance, and a pinch of rebellion. Then here's to a night of enchantment and mischief, he said, his voice dipping slightly. May your milestone be as wondrous and unpredictable as the realms we call home. Tilly lifted an imaginary glass in a playful toast. Cheers to that, Aster. And maybe next year, you'll join me in celebrating my 21st, if you can handle another year of my royal antics. Aster smirked. Challenge accepted, princess. Challenge accepted. Her laughter rang between them, light and carefree, as the evening carried on, the promise of magic lingering in the air. The grand ballroom fell silent as the slow, deliberate clap echoed through the hall, commanding attention like a spell that seized control of the air itself. And she won't stop until she does. The grand ballroom fell silent as the slow, deliberate clap echoed through the hall, commanding attention like a spell that seized control of the air itself. Tilly turned, her curiosity prickling into unease. The Queen and King had already given their grand speech at the start of the ball. Who dared to command the room now? A woman stood at the edge of the grand hall, poised as if she owned the very stones beneath her feet. Her deep red lips curled into a smirk, the color rich like aged wine and twice as intoxicating. She giggled softly, the sound light yet laced with something sharper. Her sleek, impossibly perfect hair fell into place as if enchanted, every strand a calculated move. Her gown was dazzling, adorned with intricate embroidery, with a slit that climbed high against her thigh, a statement, a challenge. There was something about her. Something familiar, yet frustratingly distant in Tilly's memory. Who was she? And why did she command the attention of the entire room with presence alone? The woman's voice rang out, smooth and taunting. What a wonderful birthday celebration, thrown for two princesses. The Queen tensed. The King gripped his cup tighter. What is the meaning of this nonsense? The King thundered. Guards! Take this impostor out of here at once. The woman, as sage, turned to him, her smirk deepening. Oh, you damn well know you're in the wrong. Her tone dripped with venom. Your guilt stains this hall more than any spilled wine tonight. She turned then, eyes locking onto Tilly. Tilly. I am your twin sister. Tilly felt the breath leave her lungs. Around her, the ballroom seemed to fade into a distant hum. Our dear parents cast me out the moment I was born. A murmur spread through the nobles like wildfire, eyes darting between Sage and the now pale-faced Queen and King. The weight of unspoken truths settled over the room. Tilly swallowed, her thoughts spinning. My twin sister? Cast out by my parents since birth? Was she drunk? No. She stood too confidently, too deliberately. She truly believed what she was saying. But what shook Tilly most was the look on her parents' faces. Not anger. Not disgust. But fear. Sage stepped forward, her voice unwavering. We all know of the enchanted goblet. A single drop of blood reveals one's true family ties. A murmur rippled through the crowd. And with nobles, she continued, for absolute confirmation, she flicked invisible dust from her gown, drawing out the moment. Their heirlooms will glow in recognition of their kin. She held up a goblet, raising it high. So, let us settle this, shall we? Tilly's breath hitched as Sage lifted a dagger, pressing the blade to her finger. Here, I drop my blood. The ballroom stood frozen, anticipation thick in the air. A single drop of blood fell. A hushed silence blankets the grand ballroom. Then, a ripple of gasps and whispers spreads through the gathered nobles. All eyes lock onto the glowing heirlooms, the king's crown, the queen's tiara, and Tilly's amulet necklace. Proof. Undeniable proof. The murmurs swell into chaos. Tilly stands frozen, her breath shallow, her heart hammering against her ribs. I I can barely breathe. Across the ballroom, Sage steps forward, calm and composed. She brushes a hand over her gown, smoothing out invisible creases before speaking. And my true, caring parents, the King and Queen of Duskmoor, she begins, her voice carrying effortlessly through the stunned silence. The ones who rescued me and raised me as their own. She lifts her chin defiantly. They have told me this truth. Tilly sways slightly, her pulse pounding in her ears. Sage's gaze hardens. I was born 2 minutes before Tilly. The weight of her words crashes over the room like a tidal wave. Which makes me the true heir of Etherwyn. Gasps ripple through the crowd once more. And since I, named Sage, hold the power of both Duskmoor and Etherwyn. She pauses, her expression sharpening. I warn you now, King and Queen. The air grows thick with anticipation. You will swear allegiance to Duskmoor, Sage declares, her voice unwavering, or Etherwyn shall pay the price. The king stiffens. The queen sways as if the ground beneath her has turned to ice. Sage steps forward, her tone laced with bitter satisfaction. Mark my words, traitor mother and father. Your atrocious secrets have been revealed. A hush falls over the ballroom, broken only by the sound of Sage inhaling deeply. Then, without warning, a silver mist erupts around her, swirling like a living entity. The nobles recoil, their expressions twisted in fear and awe. And just like that, Sage vanishes. A stunned silence lingers in her wake, broken only by the queen's quiet, heartbroken sob. This ball is over, the king roars, his voice shaking the walls. Everyone is dismissed at once. The guards scramble into action as he barks his next orders. Search every corridor, chamber, and hidden passage within these castle walls. I want that imposter Sage found immediately. Tilly stands motionless amid the chaos, her mind spinning. How could my parents abandon their own child? The thought is suffocating. How could they hide this from me my whole life? She grips her amulet tightly, her nails digging into her palm. And what will happen to this kingdom now? Her throat tightens. We're all in danger. And they knew it all along. Without another thought, she turns on her heel and bolts from the ballroom, tears stinging her vision. Tilly. Callum. Fable. Aster. Cove. They call after her, their voices distant, desperate. But she doesn't stop. She can't. She has to find out why. She just has to. And she won't stop until she does.